legendary race. Speaking of legends, I've got a guy up here, and possibility of you being elected into the Hall of Fame this year. And welcome. Thank you. And it's just, I tell you what, you've done so much for the sport, where there was this void. All we had was PWs, and you had a chance to make a difference. And there was like, what's this Cobra thing they're coming up with? Where did this come from? And, you know, and it's like, and I remember even at the time, it was like, just wait, it's coming. And now, you know, because of what you've done, we've expanded it, and we actually made other manufacturers make a decent bike. So we thank you so much.
Travis ran.
Right.
And he didn't make it through Loretta's with it. And Travis's dad tried everything to get it to go, and everything just breaks on it, you know.
Yeah.
So we had one of those, and I own a tool and die shop. So everything was breaking, and I was fixing it. Well, we went to Loretta's in 93, I think it was, and broke. You know, we didn't make it through. And we were leaving, my wife and I were leaving Loretta's in 93, and we're going up that hill. And I just said, I called the manufacturer. I go, well, what are you doing for next year? And they're like, oh, we got new graphics and think about another color. And I'm like, dude, like everything's broke, you know? It's still a POS. Come on, you know?
Yeah.
So they wouldn't do nothing. And my wife and I just said, you know, if they're not going to do it, I think we should try this. You know, we should do this.
And bless you for doing that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
it's and of course, being on the Congress side of it, you know, we charged the manufacturers, and we were like, you need to come up with a bike, an entry-level bike 50, that people can go out and race. Because Yamaha just kind of went like, hey, we never designed a PW50 for racing. That's right. They did it, not us. And, you know, now all of a sudden, the void was like, what are we going to do? It's like, well, you got to build something. And, of course, they did. So you brought the Moto Marini around, made the Cobra, and then, you know, DRR was in for a little bit, but they didn't hang with that. Mm-hmm. And, of course, KTM steps in, and then, you know, KTM dragging all the other of their clones with them.
Lem and Polini and Italojet. There was all these Italian things that were just coming over like crazy and breaking as fast as people were buying them, you know. I mean, they were just breaking nonstop. And so I design, that's what I do, you know, and I seen all the problems with it, and I just said, okay, well, we're going with a chromoly frame, and we're going with not bicycle bearings in the headset, we're going with tapered roller bearings.
Right.
And, you know, we're going to put real bearings in the wheels, not bicycle bearings, you know. And,
oh, my God, yeah.
And not an 8-millimeter axle. We went with 12-millimeter axles, you know. I mean, it's just everything just broke and on the Italian bikes. And, you know, the PW was a pretty dependable little bike. It was a turd. It didn't go nowhere, you know.
Right.
And nobody could learn on it. And, you know, I got with suspension people. George helped me out at first, George Quay, and then PR2 stepped up, and everybody was there on board to help me with a lot of the stuff that I didn't know nothing about. But, you know, so the first couple years of Cobra was an Italian engine, and it broke. You know, so I just said, all right, I'm done with this, and we designed our own engine. And in 97, first year in 97, we had our own engine. And that's when things really took off. You know, I mean, the bikes just became really, really, really good. You know, and we made our own wheels, and we made our own frames. We made the engines. We made our pipes. You know, I had people making pipes for me, and you know, then I had just a lot of stuff going on. You know, it was crazy. You know, it was crazy times, but man, I loved every second of it.
Oh, absolutely. And then the ultimate last year at Congress, we're sitting there, and of course, the announcement, Cobra's coming out with the M5, mm-hmm. and the electric bike, but done right. One of the biggest problems we had with the first generation of electric bikes was, the motors were burning up because it was low voltage, high amperage.
Sure.
And the batteries you couldn't change out. It was I mean, the first year of when we had the super regionals back in the COVIDs, and we had one of the first ones at Tomahawk, and it was supposed to be 15 minutes. Well, guess what?
Yeah,
Electric bikes, they couldn't, at 10 minutes, they're starting to lose power. At 12 and a half, we figured out that's the max.
Sure.
Otherwise you're not running a good race.
Right.
But then this year, you come out, redesign it, a better motor, and you can change out a battery. It's like, wow, whoever thought of that?
Right. Yeah.
And of course now the E6s and the E8s are coming up. And I know they haven't made it out yet, but they are right on the cusp. I know you're ready to release, and of course, I'm looking at it going like, well, what's your rated horsepower on the 6s and 8s? And your guy was like, I don't know.
Right.
I was like, oh my God, how are we going to classify that?
Yeah, how are you going to classify that?
It's just, we knew it was coming, and and people either hate them or love them. But the fact is, they're here.
Sure. Yeah.
And the 6s and 8s is just going to change everything across the board. So, we're looking forward to that coming out. More than anything, we want to thank you for your engineering.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
And, you saw a need that we all needed, and you stepped in and filled the void.
Well, that was good timing.
It's good timing, yeah.
Yeah, it was good timing.
Isn't it all?
And it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed every second of it, and it was really a good time. And, to see what little kids could do on a motorcycle is incredible. I mean, when they have a good motorcycle, they could do anything. I mean, they're as good as little pros when you train them right. And I saw that, and I just knew that they needed good bikes.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing that it used to be the 65s. They started learning how to go fast. Well, now they're coming off of Stasics at 3 years old.
Sure.
And jumping on an e-bike at 4. And it's, I'm used to PWs where you go out, run, grab them, and pitch them up the hill. No, these kids are flying at 4 years old. It's amazing.
Pretty amazing. Yeah, it really is. That's cool. It's good that it's all developing, and really from the start when I first made the bike, I always said I always wanted to teach the manufacturers a lesson.
Oh yeah.
Because I was quite irritated with all the junk that was out there, and everybody's stuff was breaking, and then you couldn't get parts, and when you could get them, they were charging outrageous amounts, $400. You couldn't buy a set of rings; you had to buy a whole top end because they didn't want to break it up. So you had to buy a cylinder, a head, a piston, just to get the rings. It was $400. It's just like. And that was back in the day,
Absolutely.
So I was really upset with them. So I did everything that I could to make the parts cheaper than anybody else. Because most of the stuff, because of what I did, I had to design and develop each part for that bike because prior to what I did, nobody jumped 50s. Nobody jumped anything.
Right.
And I do engineering, but I'm not smart enough to figure out like what a 7-year-old is going to jump. And when I seen they were jumping, Daniel Paluzzi clearing a 125-foot tabletop in California. I'm just like on a 50. I'm just like, uh-oh.
and all the big factories, they've got their own test pilots.
Right.
That can give you good input off of that. And, of course, you're looking at a 4 or 5, 6-year-old, and it's like, what was like that? It was cool.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Feedback was always extremely difficult. You can't get feedback because, number one, they won't be truthful with me because they don't want to hurt my feelings if something isn't good.
Yeah.
So that was always one of the biggest problems where they wouldn't say, this thing sucks. So feedback and testing was always tough, but after you do it for a while, I can see myself, and I just, I figured it out without their feedback.
Sure,
that it needed this or it needed that, and we needed to do this or that.
And one of the other great things about Cobra, and of course as a referee and an announcer, the fact that Cobra Factory was there at every single race. You had track support because the parents are coming up going, I don't know what's wrong. He just said it isn't running right.
Right.
What do I do?
Well, that was another real strong point that my wife and I decided right from the get-go that we went to every single race that we could go to. I think I put 300,000 miles on my motorhome one year, going from race to race and helping. And then with the dealer network, I was always real particular with dealers, so I could get dealers that could go and help at the track.
Right.
I had certain guys that I knew that would take Florida or take Arkansas or somewhere around the country to help me, and they would go and do as good of a job as I would. I had really good people, and they helped, and that was awesome. And then even in my factory where we eventually ended up building a factory because I started in my little 24 by 24 garage in my machine shop, and that's where we did all the original assembly and stuff in that little building. And it was pretty crazy, but to find people that could do that, and when I hired people, one of the things I always took pride in was I always asked them a couple things on an interview was that, number one, they had to be in the industry. When I had Cobra, and everybody that worked for me was in the industry. They either owned a motorcycle, raced it, worked on one, was involved with it.
Yeah.
So
let's face it, Mike Burkeen came out of your system, Conrad Eigenman, very knowledgeable people, and people still in the industry. Yep. And, that's...
to me, it was really important, and it really helped a lot, So, I did it, but I had a lot of help, and especially from my wife and my family, because she was behind me 200%,
Well, and a lot of people have no concept of this, because you look at it and it's like, okay, well, we're going from I produced this and I got this part and it looks pretty good, and now I got to put it in mass production and have it out by next year.
Yes.
And you're going from an engineering standpoint to mass production.
Right.
And you're going, oh my God, what have I done?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I said that a bunch, but no, it was good. It was a lot of fun. I loved what I did. I loved the fact that I was making the factory squirm. I loved all that, and it was just good. And one of the highlights of what I did was me and Dave Millsaps were in Italy for the motorcycle show over there.
Oh yeah.
And we're walking through, and I don't look like a manufacturer. I don't have that look of that. So
at least not in Europe.
And Dave Millsap's the same. He's just a big burly old guy. And we go walking into a booth, and we hear these guys over there just trashing this Cobra company. The Cobra. They're all bitching about the Cobra. And they didn't know who we were. And it was hilarious. I thought it was to me, it was great. I was like, look at that. All the way across the pond, and they're yelling about me already,
So what's next? I know you can't just sit still and ride on your laurels. What's the big step next for Cobra?
Well, I'm not really with Cobra any longer. I sold that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
See, I'm way behind the times.
Yeah, you're behind. But, I sold Cobra a while back, but still kind of involved a little bit with it.
I know you're still in it, though.
Then my son and I designed a engine for the military for drones. It was a 450 two-cylinder, two-stroke, fuel-injected. Actually, it was right here in Johnstown. We did the design. We designed it, tested it, and you gotta watch that.
Go ahead.
We designed it, tested it, and got all the approvals on it. It was FAR 33. It was a great engine. Produced about 80 horsepower, two-cylinder opposing. Just a beautiful design.
Wow.
It's on my website. I think the website's espmachining.com, and there's pictures of it on there and stuff. It was really cool.
Wow.
And then we also redesigned, just recently, we redesigned the 250R engine that goes into quads and
Right,
three-wheelers
right.
and stuff. We did a complete redesign on that engine, and we're manufacturing the cases and crankshafts, and I designed this really cool deck insert that goes onto it where the cylinder goes to the cases.
Right.
And it's interchangeable, so you could put any cylinder you want on it.
Oh my goodness.
And I have the dirt drag guys that are turning the cylinders around backwards.
Oh, yeah.
It's all minimal amount of work. I mean, all you do is get a deck insert, a set of cases, deck insert, it's done.
Well, you know, the coolest class out in quad ATV or ATV motocross is the 250 mod class.
Yep.
And the innovation that they have come up with, a lot of KTMs in it, you know, but you keep looking at it, it's like, somebody needs to pick this up because, you know, this is
my
highly
engine
competitive.
is really, really cool. I did a whole bunch of really neat stuff to it, and we produced over 140 horsepower with the last one, set 2 world high-speed records with it in the dirt drags. One, I think, in July, and I think the other one was in November. It's pretty cool. It just goes. You know, it's sick. It's a 653
Yeah.
in a 250 bottom end.
So we're looking at, this should be the LCQ for the 450 Pro, because they just had the 250C LCQ. And I'm showing a 65 711 up there, and that, I know that's not right. But let's see, that looks like Noah Chambers. Now, this is a 250 Pro-Am. Is it that time? It is, 3 o'clock. So in the 250 Pro-Am, Vinny Luhovi is in the lead. Massiangelo in second. Steve Roman in third. Noah Stevens in fourth. And the 22 of Keith in fifth right now. Okay, so Luhovi and Massiangelo up over the Himmler triple there. So what do you think about this massive off-camber here? That's an East Coast beast there.
It's just so cool, you know. It is. It's really. The track is absolutely beautiful. It's the conditions, everything here. It's really amazing.
All right, there's Stevie Roman, the 731, and Noah Stevens, the 97, as they make their way through the Pro Action finish line. So a 15-minute race. The 22 of Gage Keith is in fifth. Dakota DeVore, the 526, just behind him in sixth. Then there's Matt Burkeen, the 820, and the 513 of Bill Carling. Now, Matt Burkeen, I know that, you know, he was Cobra all the way up, through the ranks. Of course, with Dad being right there, I'm sure he was. But still out there as a privateer, and just love it.
I didn't know he was here until right now. You said that. I'm like, I'm going to have to look him up.
He still has that smile on his face he's always had, and that's, I said, don't ever change.
Well, we've had some really good riders come through the Cobra ranks, Tomac and Cian Cirilla and just Webb.
Oh, yeah.
And,
now there is Luhovi. Luhovi has taken the lead from Massiangelo, the Canadian rider, and Massiangelo making a charge back at him. So battle for third on the top as they come around the pond turn and up the triple-double. And here's the lead coming through the Honda Bolt turn. And it is Massiangelo has retaken it. So Massiangelo in the lead now with Vinny Luhovi in second as they make their way around down that long straight. 15 minutes on this final. And, of course, you probably know most of the names out there because, I
know a lot of them, yeah. There's been a lot of kids through Cobra, and, it's for my wife and I, it's really a lot of fun to watch Supercross and see all those kids and go, oh, wow, they're Sexton. it's just cool, to see all these kids.
Oh, yeah.
And where they're all ending up. It's really cool. It's
Noah Stevens and Stevie Roman, the 731. Stevie Roman, I think he's entered in like 6 races this weekend.
Wow.
And 36 years old.
Gotta love that.
Masiangelo and Lohobi out of the tail of the Dragon. Headed down the Mositas downhill. Taking that bowl turn at the bottom. And I don't think there's any smooth line through there at this point. But the Canadian came down here. He is loaded for bear in this 250 class. Lohobi, he's in the midst of training for the Outdoor Nationals. So he is absolutely on his game right now. And the Canuck is putting it to him. But again, it ain't over until the obese lady yodels, and she ain't yodeling yet. Masiangelo off the track a little bit. He gets a little crossed up. That brings in Lohobi a little closer to him as they come down towards the Pro Action finish line area. Again, this will be a 15-minute race. Both of these racers at a 146. Masiangelo at a 146.408. Lohobi at a 146.8. So about 0.2 of a second slower. And that ain't much. I can't blink that fast. So there's Noah Stevens, the 97 in third, and Steve Roman in fourth. DeVore, the 526. Dakota DeVore sitting pretty there. Battle between Gage Keith back into sixth now. Peyton Jackson to 620 in seventh. Carling has dropped back to eighth place. Ben Nelko in ninth, and Burkeen back to 10th. Yeah, that's it's so cool to see this and to watch as the Cobras actually handle this track.
Yeah, I was watching them today, and
it's
just,
like, oh man.
They just sucked it up. It was great.
And of course, you get down to the bottom of that bowl turn, and those berm ruts are so deep, it's swallowing the bike.
Oh yeah. That little short wheelbase just going rocking back and forth like a rocking chair, just pop, 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 pop. But the kids are getting through it. It's awesome. It's really good to see how well everything's working, and bikes are running really good. So for me, it's a heck of an accomplishment.
Preston Masiangelo gets the halfway mark, so 7 minutes in. He works his way around the fuel factory tunnel and underneath the Plum Contracting Bridge, down into the Dunlop first turn. And his last lap, he was a 146.408. Vinny Lohobi at a 146.729, so 0.3 of a second, but 4 seconds back behind that now. So Masiangelo coming in here loaded for bear on the gas. Noah Stevens 19 seconds behind the battle for the lead, with Steve Roman 6 seconds behind that. Yeah, I often wondered if anybody would ever step up and try to make an American-made, like a Cobra ATV racer. They've got the DRR,
Yeah.
but it's Chinese.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the Hetriks and a few other people, building them up, making them raceable.
I had talked about it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I have all the equipment, I have the technology, I have everything that I need to do it. Financial backing would be nice on something like that, a project like that.
Yeah.
If I could find the right backer, I would do it. It's just because it's fun.
I got the guy for you. We get John Ford involved in that.
I love doing that kind of stuff. I
Oh,
love giving
absolutely.
I love giving the other factories heartache. I think that was part of the drive with Cobra, just knowing that the Europeans were all squirming over there and bitching about me.
Oh, yeah.
And it was great seeing the little kids, man. Little kids are awesome, and there's,
Yeah, they are.
I went to California, I think, I've been there every year, but in the one year, I think in '97, when it was the Meads and Palooza and all those riders out there, the whole California group, and they had songs written about Cobra and all kinds of stuff. They're riding around on golf carts singing songs about Cobra. I'm like, that's pretty cool. That was really cool.
I can do that.
Yeah. No, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed, again, just about every second of it. Every once in a while you get some irate parent that doesn't understand, but that's just part of it there.
Now we're looking at Luhovy there in second place as he makes his way down the Mosite. Mosite is bold turn at the bottom there. And of course, Masiangelo is trying to run out and hide. 3-second gap now between the two of them. And of course, depends on which side of that 3 seconds as to how long that 3 seconds is. It's like being the man on the outside of the bathroom. It's only going to be a minute. Yeah, okay. Down through the valley and into the bowl turn, you can see Masiangelo just taking off of that Himmel excavating triple there. Of course, Lahoe's kind of looking at it like, dude, what do I have to do here? I'm riding as fast as I can, and this guy is still killing me. So we're in the second half of the race as Preston Masiangelo out there on the MX Tire 60 FXR Oakley Gas. Pride of Waterford, Ontario, Canada. And if he isn't, he damn well should be. Come down here and beat the Americans at their own game. Up over the Scott step up and into the midst of the dragon back. Masiangelo doing a masterful job. Noah Stevens still in third, and Stevie Roman and Dakota DeVore got a good battle going for that fourth position. They're just behind Stevens. Masiangelo up around the hairpin. He's got to be getting tired. Not that he's going to show it, but he's getting there. And up out of the MX6 triple-double. Here's our third place rider. That is the 97 of Noah Stevens. As he comes in through the bowl turn, that gives you some idea how far he's got to be. Almost 30 seconds back in third position. Yeah, 28 seconds. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
I pulled that out of the air.
Pretty good, yeah.
So you would have never thought of this 3 weeks of rain, and looks like we're going to have dust this afternoon. It might have to water the track.
Track's amazing, the shape.
Oh, it's just, and this looks like a combination of Mammoth and Point South. You look at the jumps, faces all nice hard packed, but the chocolate cake dough in the other parts.
I give Jeff, a lot of credit because of the way the track is prepped, and they know, he kind of knows in advance what to do. And same thing with Coombs is down at Loretta's when we had all the issues down there and stuff with the water and the rain and the storms. And I've been the tracks all over the country, actually all over the world, and I don't think anybody preps tracks as good as Jeff and Coombs's and Loretta's and all that. Those tracks are always awesome.
Jeff Russell, just the master of the dozer.
Sure, yeah.
All right, so there's the second placer. That's Vinny Luhovy, and Vinny out there on the Mositis. Yeah, I see. I messed it up again. Mositis. Motorsports, True MX, Fast Track Moto, FCC Motorsport, Gemco Plumbing, MX Tire, Yamaha. As he makes his way down through the valley up into the Honda Bowl turn. Brings it around. Our leader there, Preston Masiangelo, brings it by. Let's see if he gets a white flag this lap. Not quite. He's probably got to be, by this time it's like, dude, please. Another one? He did say that this is his favorite track and his favorite race conditions. Down to the beast. And off camber, downhill left-hander. Just so love cool. It.
Yeah, that is so cool.
Through the tail of the dragon. You can't keep your foot high enough in that. Preston Masiangelo, as we wind down in this second moto of the 250 Pro-Am. And right now, 1 and 1 equals 1 for Preston Masiangelo for the overall. Vinny Lahovey second, Noah Stevens third. Right on back, Stephen Roman fourth, Peyton Jackson sixth. Dakota DeVore was a fifth. And that's on the overalls that I'm talking there, so that would be in sixth place. Masiangelo just eating the track up. All right, Noah Stevens coming through the bowl turn. Out of Danbury, North Carolina on the KTM. There's the white flag. So Masiangelo, 1 lap to go. Vinny Lahovey in second. Noah Stevens third. Steve Roman fourth. Dakota DeVore in fifth. Peyton Jackson sixth. Gage Keith seventh. Ben Nelko in eighth. Bill Carley ninth. And rounding out the top 10, Matt Burkeen, the smilingest man in motocross. It's funny talking to him. He said, yeah, he goes, I don't like to go to the pro outdoors. It costs me money. I'll stick with the Pro-Ams. I make plenty of money. I have a lot of riding time. It's all good.
That's funny. Matt's a good kid.
Yes, he is.
He's a really, really good kid.
And another one getting the shirt off his back.
Yep.
You know, he just, it's all about the sport. He puts out his arena cross
that's one of the
crash
things
videos.
That was really nice about owning Cobra was, I met those type of people, and it was just really nice to meet. Even to this day, I bought a machine down in Louisiana, and I haven't talked to those people since probably 2000 or 99, and I bought a machine down there that was in the town where they went over and checked it out for me and stuff. It's like, hey, just an old Cobra customer, and old Cobra customers are great, and
oh yeah.
And that's actually how I got the drone engine to build for the military was through old Cobra customers. They were in a meeting with I don't know, Navy SEALs or whatever, and they're sitting there going, who are we going to get to make this? And the two guys that used to have Cobras are like, call Bud.
Here we go. Checkered flag comes out, and Preston Masiangelo will take the win and the overall on the MX Tire Dirt Lab Motorsport 110 Racing ODI Engine Ice. No, that's the wrong one. And I even knew it. That was Peyton Jackson. Sorry. Hey, let's try that again. Preston Masiangelo on the MX Tire 60 FXR Oakley Gas from Waterford, Ontario, Canada. Bud, we want to thank you for coming up here, and I'm so happy that you got to see a good race.
Thank you very much for having me up. It's great.
I've got a pen here. Would you mind signing the wall? It'd be you, Gary Semix, and Chad Reed so far, and I think
awesome.
that that's pretty good company.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks. Where's
And
the wall?
over there
Okay.
with the signatures. And I know I'll be voting for you for Hall of Fame. I just hope that everybody else is out there and, listening
Yeah.
to this.
I hope so.
And
yeah, it would be cool.
It would be really cool to see you there, and I'll see you at the Hall of Fame dinner, hopefully when we get you in there this year.
I hope so. Yeah, it'd be cool.
Thanks, bud.
Yeah, thanks again. Really
Thanks.
appreciate your time and let me come up and talk. Yeah,
I love it.
That's cool.